Missionary Generation. This generation grew up during a time of great change, marked by the end of the Civil War, the rise of industrialization, and the spread of new technologies like the telephone and electricity. As children, the missionary generation experienced the growth of public schools and the establishment of libraries and museums. Many of them were involved in church activities and were encouraged to help others and make the world a better place. In the 1880s, as young adults, they began supporting progressive ideas such as political, educational, and labor reforms to address social inequalities. By the early 1900s, the missionary generation became key players in social activism. They led movements like temperance, women's suffrage, and public health, aiming to create a fairer and healthier society. When World War I broke out in 1914, many members of the missionary generation supported the war effort, either by serving in the military or by working on the home front. After the war, they continued to promote international cooperation and peace, helping to create organizations like the League of Nations. The most notable people from this generation include Theodore Roosevelt, Jane Addams, and Booker T. Washington. Theodore Roosevelt was the 26th president of the United States, known for his progressive policies and conservation efforts. Jane Addams founded Hull House in Chicago and fought for women's rights and social justice. And Booker T. Washington was a key educator advocating for the advancement of Black Americans. Lost Generation. This generation came of age during one of the most chaotic and destructive periods in modern history, World War I. As young adults, they were thrust into the horrors and chaos of the war, which profoundly shaped their worldviews. The violence and destruction they experienced caused them to lose faith and feel lost. Many became cynical and started questioning society's norms and rules. The Lost Generation also played a big role in the modernist movement in literature and art, breaking away from traditional forms and exploring new techniques. They often wrote about disillusionment and the search for meaning after the war. Among the key figures of this group was Ernest Hemingway, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and Gertrude Stein. Ernest Hemingway captured the emotional and physical toll of the war in his seminal works like The Sun Also Rises and A Farewell to Arms. F. Scott Fitzgerald critiqued the American dream in his masterpiece, The Great Gatsby. Gertrude Stein, an influential writer and art collector, not only coined the term Lost Generation, but also hosted a salon in Paris, which became a gathering place for many artists and writers. The Greatest Generation. The Greatest Generation, those who grew up during the Great Depression and fought in World War II, witnessed some of the most profound events in modern history. They grew up in a time of economic prosperity known as the Roaring Twenties. However, the stock market crash of 1929 marked the beginning of the Great Depression. Families struggled to get by, and children learned the value of hard work and perseverance early on. As they came of age in the late 1930s, the world was on the brink of war. Millions of young men enlisted in the armed forces, and women worked in factories to support the soldiers. They faced the horrors of battle in Europe, Africa, and the Pacific, showing remarkable courage and resilience. After the war, the Greatest Generation returned home and built the foundation for modern society. They went to school, bought houses, and started families, which led to economic growth. The most famous personalities of the Greatest Generation are John Fitzgerald Kennedy, Robert Oppenheimer, and Queen Elizabeth II. John Fitzgerald Kennedy was an American politician who served as the 35th president of the United States from 1961 until his assassination in 1963. Robert Oppenheimer was a theoretical physicist and leader of the Manhattan Project, which developed the first atomic bomb. Elizabeth II was the longest reigning British monarch, serving as Queen of the United Kingdom, known for her dedication to public service and keeping the kingdom stable during major social and political changes. Silent Generation. We call this generation silent because they were focused on a working career rather than on activism. They were also living during the time when it was dangerous to express opinions loudly. The Silent Generation grew up during the Great Depression in the 1930s. Times were tough, and many families struggled with little money. During World War II in the 1940s, as children and teenagers, they watched their older siblings and parents go off to fight in the war. In the 1950s, they started their adult lives. The economy was booming, and many of them got jobs, bought houses, and started families. This was the era of rock and roll, and they enjoyed new music and the beginnings of modern pop culture. The 1960s brought big changes. The Silent Generation worked hard and raised their children, while also experiencing the civil rights movement and other social changes. They saw the first man land on the moon and were part of a rapidly changing world. The most notable people from this generation include Martin Luther King Jr., Saddam Hussein, and John Lennon. Martin Luther Luther King Jr. was a leader of the American Civil Rights Movement, known for his nonviolent protests against racial segregation and his famous I Have a Dream speech. He played a key role in advancing civil rights in the United States until his assassination in 1968. Saddam Hussein was the president of Iraq from 1979 to 2003, known for his authoritarian rule and involvement in regional conflicts, including the Iran-Iraq War and the Gulf War. He was captured by U.S. forces in 2003 and executed in 2006 after being convicted of crimes against humanity. John Lennon was a British musician and songwriter, best known as a co-founder of the Beatles, one of the most influential bands in music history. After the Beatles, he had a successful solo career and became an iconic figure for his peace activism before being tragically assassinated in 1980. Baby boomers. The term baby boomers comes from the significant post-World War II increase in birth rates, as they were born during a period of economic growth. As boomers became teenagers in the 1960s, they witnessed and participated in major social changes. The Civil Rights Movement, the Vietnam War, and the rise of rock and roll music shaped their views and experiences. This is why many protested for peace and equality. In the 1970s, boomers entered adulthood, started careers, and formed families. They saw the end of the Vietnam War and experienced economic challenges like the oil crisis. It was also a time of new cultural trends and personal exploration. Significant personalities among boomers are Donald Trump, Steve Jobs, and Homer Simpson. Donald Trump is an American businessman, television personality, and politician who served as the 45th President of the United States from 2017 to 2021. Known for his controversial policies and outspoken demeanor, he still remains a prominent figure in American politics as he runs for president again. Steve Jobs was an American entrepreneur and inventor who co-founded Apple and played a key role in the development of revolutionary products like the iPhone, iPad, and MacBook. Renowned for his visionary leadership and innovative design thinking. Yes, Homer Simpson is also a boomer. He's a fictional character from the animated television show The Simpsons, known for being the funny and often clumsy dad in the Simpson family. Homer works at the Springfield nuclear power plant and is characterized by his catchphrases like "Don't!" and his love for donuts and beer. Generation X. Generation X grew up during a time of significant social and technological change, and they were raised with more independence than previous generations. As children, Gen X experienced the rise of personal computers, video games, and cable TV. Many of them were latchkey kids, coming home from school to an empty house because their parents were at work. This gave them a sense of self-reliance and independence. In their teenage years, they saw the end of the Cold War and the fall of the Berlin Wall. They also witnessed the growth of hip-hop and rap music. As young adults, Gen X entered the workforce during a time of economic uncertainty. They faced high unemployment rates and a tough job market. During the 1990s and early 2000s, Generation X became known for their entrepreneurial spirit. They have helped the growth of the internet and technology industry through companies like Google, Amazon, and Apple. They were also early adopters of social media and mobile technologies. The most notable people from Gen X include Charlie Sheen, Elon Musk, and Eminem. Charlie Sheen is an American actor known for his roles in popular TV shows like 2.5 Men and films such as Platoon or Wall Street. He is also famous for his party lifestyle and struggles with addiction. Elon Musk is a billionaire entrepreneur and CEO of several high-profile companies, including Tesla, SpaceX, and Twitter. He is renowned for his ambitious goals, such as advancing electric vehicles, colonizing Mars, and developing cutting-edge technologies. Eminem, whose real name is Marshall Mathers, is a highly acclaimed American rapper known for his complex lyrics and influential contributions to the hip-hop genre. He gained fame with albums like The Slim Shady and The Marshall Mathers. Millennials. Generation Y, also known as millennials, grew up during a time of rapid technological advancement and significant global events. As children, millennials experienced the rise of mobile phones, the introduction of the internet, and the advent of social media platforms like MySpace and Facebook, which changed how they communicated and formed friendships. In their teenage years, millennials witnessed the impact of 9/11 and the subsequent war on terror. They were the first generation to grow up with Google and Wikipedia, which changed how they accessed information and learned about the world. Entering adulthood, millennials faced the Great Recession in 2008, which made finding jobs and starting careers challenging. Mark Zuckerberg, Andrew Tate, and Taylor Swift are among the most famous millennials. Mark Zuckerberg is the co-founder and CEO of Facebook. He is known for creating the world's largest social media network, which has significantly impacted global communication and digital interaction. Andrew Tate is a social media personality, entrepreneur, and former kickboxing world champion known for his controversial views and self-help content. He gained widespread attention for his provocative statements and lifestyle advice, which have sparked both criticism and a significant following online. Taylor Swift is a highly successful American singer known for her narrative songwriting. She has won numerous awards, including multiple Grammys, and is celebrated for hits like Love Story, Shake It Off, and Blank Space. Generation Z. As children, Gen Z experienced the rise of smartphones and tablets. Many of them had access to the internet from a very young age, which influenced how they learned and entertained themselves. Short videos on social media platforms like TikTok or Instagram became extremely popular. Zoomers are also used to streaming services like Netflix and Spotify, rather than traditional TV or radio. Gen Z has been deeply affected by global events such as climate change, the COVID-19 pandemic, and social justice movements like Black Lives Matter. As they move into adulthood, Gen Z is entering the workforce with a strong digital skill set. They are innovative, often using technology to create new opportunities and solve problems. The most notable Zoomers are Max Verstappen, Mr. Beast, and Billie Eilish. Max Verstappen is a Belgium and Dutch racing driver who competes in Formula One for the Red Bull racing team. He is known for becoming the youngest race winner in Formula One history when he was only 18 years and 228 days old. Mr. Beast, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, is a popular American YouTuber. He has gained more than 300 million subscribers by creating content that includes large-scale challenges, generous giveaways, and charity projects. Billie Eilish is an American singer and songwriter known for her unique musical style, which gained her widespread fame with hits like Bad Guy and Ocean Eyes. She has won numerous awards, including multiple Grammys, and is the second artist in Grammy history to win all 4 general field categories: Record of the Year, Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best New Artist in the same year. Generation Alpha. As babies and toddlers, Generation Alpha experienced technology from the start. Many of them played with tablets and smartphones before they could even talk. Since early childhood, they've been used to streaming services such as Netflix or Disney+. The COVID-19 pandemic also had a significant impact on their early years, as they had to adapt to remote learning and virtual social interactions. Entering school age, Generation Alpha continues to be surrounded by technology. They are familiar with video calls and online gaming, and they consume content on YouTube and TikTok. They are expected to be the most educated and technologically adept generation yet, navigating a world that is more interconnected than ever. Like Nastia, Prince George of Wales, Royalty Brown are the most famous Gen Alpha kids. Like Nastia, whose real name is Anastasia Rodzinskaya, is a young Russian-American YouTuber known for her family-friendly videos. She is one of the most popular child YouTubers in the world, with 118 million subscribers and billions of views. Her annual YouTube income is estimated to be around $28 million. Prince George of Wales is the eldest son of Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, and is second in line to the British throne right behind his father. He is a prominent member of the British royal family and is expected to play a significant role in the monarchy's future. Royalty Brown is the daughter of American singer Chris Brown and model Nia Guzman. She has gained a lot of attention through social media due to her father's fame and often appears in his posts and public events. Thank you for watching. If you've watched this far, you'll definitely like this video too.